Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm really good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
It's Friday.
It is Friday. It's going to be a great day. We've got a great show coming your way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
FreshPatch.com is making dogs like me happy. They send out real grass pads for us to use indoors. Now when it's cold outside, I can go inside. And when I've used up the real grass patch, the mailman brings me a new Fresh Patch. It's the best idea since doggy treats. Convince your mommy to try it today. I suggest you try Puppy Dog Eyes. FreshPatch.com. Use promo code RADIO to save 10%. That's FreshPatch.com. Promo code RADIO.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, November the 2nd, National Ohio Day, National Deviled Egg Day. It is also Traffic Directors Day and National Jersey Day. You going to celebrate any of those?
No, probably not.
All right. Well, we also have a quote for today from Oprah Winfrey. She says, "I know for sure that we dwell on what we dwell on is what we become." Oops, I just made a mistake. I won't dwell on it or I'll become a mistake. I don't want that. I've got a great quote for today, or I got a great interview for today as well. GrandpaMagic is the name of this book. Check this out. This looks fun, doesn't it?
I saw this when it arrived.
And Allan ZolaKronzek. I'm not sure if I said that right. I'll find out. And I'll be chatting with Allan later in the program. It's a book called GrandpaMagic. It's how to do all kinds of cool tricks for your grandkids. I'm excited. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Want to honor a veteran? Consider giving to Veterans Tickets Foundation, a national nonprofit who supports our currently serving military, veterans, and family members of those we've lost in action by providing them with free tickets to sporting events, concerts, performing arts, and family activities. VetTix is dedicated to giving back to those who gave us so much. Learn how you can help at vettix.org. VetTix.org.
Time now for Is It a Golf Course or Is It a Rehab Center? It's where we try to trick Heidi. We give her the name of a facility, and it's a true place. It really is a place. She's got to tell me, is it a golf course or is it a rehab center? It's brought to you by timeforrehab.com. You ready for this one, Heidi?
I'm ready. Let's do
Rogue
it.
Valley, Medford, Oregon. Rogue Valley. Is it a golf course or is it a rehab center?
Golf course.
It is a rehab center. I'm sorry. You know what? You want a second shot
And
at
I
it?
said it with such conviction, too.
You did. You sounded right, but you weren't. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We're getting to the time of year where we start planning for holiday parties and other events that often include alcohol. I encourage you to have some alcohol-free options as well. And if you are drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. Timeforrehab.com would love to connect you with someone who can be there for you or that loved one. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, we're here for you. Timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com. And this is Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by timeforrehab.com. Each day at this time, we talk about people who do silly things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or somebody you know needs help, you can learn more at timeforrehab.com. According to court records, a Colorado man groped a female passenger and then urinated on a seat in a Frontier Airlines jet. He's doing a plea deal. He's 46, Michael Haag, H-A-A-G. He was arrested when he was traveling from Denver, and they landed in South Carolina. Says he was drinking double vodka tonics on board the flight, and he got a bit tipsy, more than tipsy. So somebody said, "Stop touching me." The lady did, because he kept touching her, kept putting his hand on her leg, and when she says touching a sleeping woman's fingers and then touching her legs, yikes. That's not good. So anyway, it was quite the incident. We'll just put it that way. He got himself arrested, got himself in a lot of trouble. It's a bad idea. That's what happens when
I've never had a vodka tonic.
Nor have I. I don't know what that is. Is that?
It's like a gin and tonic, but it's vodka instead of gin.
Well,
I'll have to try that.
I know what Heidi's going to be trying later. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Bill Cosby's first attempt to appeal his conviction was denied last week. His team argued that the sentencing of 3 to 10 years is too harsh and that his blindness was not taken into account. So, I'm not sure how that makes a difference, but apparently it does. Jerry Springer signed on to host a daytime courtroom show. It's like Judge Judy. Guess what they're going to call it?
What?
Judge Jerry.
Oh, good Lord.
Of course.
You don't have to be a real judge to do a TV judge show?
I don't know. And maybe he is. I have no idea. I don't know what Jerry Springer is. I know he was...
I don't think he's a judge.
But he could be. You never know. And spoiler alert, if you're a House of Cards person and you don't want to know this, spoiler alert, Kevin Spacey's character is reportedly being murdered on the next season of House of Cards. So there you go. They're trying to, wrap up loose ends because they're writing him off the show, but they're like, hey, we want to keep going. We're just going to kill him. That's all.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Every day, approximately 23 U.S. military veterans take their own lives. Big Paws Canine Foundation is helping to decrease that number, providing service and companion dogs to our disabled veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Partnering a hero with a specifically trained dog significantly reduces the incidence of suicide, and your support makes all the difference. Find out how you can help our American heroes. Join the pack at BigPawsCanine.com.
Now your scoop of the day brought to you by FreshPatch.com, promo code RADIO. A survey shows more people request to be cremated with their ashes than any other funeral rite. So they want to be cremated with their pet's ashes. I think I forgot the word pet last time.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, what?
They want to be cremated with their own ashes. With their pet's ashes. Other reports, or other popular requests, rather, made by people planning funerals include being buried with their savings. That's just rude.
That's weird.
Being buried with in their own garden, and then having a phone with them in the coffin is another one that's a popular thing.
Okay.
So, would you want to be cremated with your pet?
I don't see the point of that at all.
Well, I hope the people that are doing that, I hope their pet has already passed away. They're like, come on, Fluffy. What's going on here?
It says with their pet's ashes, so if they're ashes, I'm pretty sure.
That's a little better. Because I'm saying otherwise, that's just mean. And being buried with your savings, here's the way you want to do that. So if they say they want to be buried with their savings, say, that is awesome. I'm going to write you a check.
Or just give them their savings statement.
Write you a check here. We're going to just tuck that in your pocket. And then what was the other one? Buried in your own garden. That's not going to help property values.
Yeah, well, house is for sale, but Grandma comes with it.
Oh, by the way, in the backyard, you might not want to put in a pool. We'll just put it that way. And then having a phone in the coffin. I think that I can understand that. You could
understand that.
But how long would you keep the service going on that phone? If they don't call after the first couple of weeks.
You're not going to.
Just saying.
Once you've been embalmed, there's no calling anybody. I don't care if you were alive at the beginning of the process.
An Arizona man suspected of attempting to burglarize a home was captured by the homeowner. The suspect told police he was in the home because he needed to use a power outlet to charge his phone. Well, of course that's what was going on. I mean, that seems perfectly reasonable to me. No, it doesn't. That seems like a bad idea.
And there's no outlets, just at restaurants
there's
or
a lot of other places you could have done that. According to the latest study, your dog really does have the ability to understand the words that you're saying.
I know they do.
Yeah, our dogs.
Our dogs do.
Yeah, well, they know certain words.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other day, I happened to say the word walk, and then we had to go for a dang walk because the dogs were so excited. I was like, that's not, no, I was talking about something else. So
they know certain words.
They know treat as well.
I wouldn't say they know the word as well as the action that comes after hearing a certain, you know what I mean? I mean, I think they remember the way you say things, they remember it. They remember the excitement in your voice more than anything. Because usually...
Do you want a treat?
Right.
That, more so than, you want a treat?
Yeah, anything that comes out with a really high-pitched question, I think they just get excited and they know those words.
No, when you say...
Want to go for a walk?
When you say...
Want to go bye-bye?
Do you want to take a bath? They go... Dogs all of a sudden become Houdini and somehow, break out of whatever they're in.
They got into a closed closet the other day when they knew they were getting a bath.
Closed the door behind themselves. They're like, don't bark. I don't care if the mailman shows up or not. Don't bark. All right. So, again, apparently dogs know what we're saying. 1 in 4 parents believe their kids see them as very uncool. I think that actually seems low. 1 in 4?
Our kids think we're awesome.
1 in 4 parents. Says 25% of parents think that their kids think that they're uncool. I think a lot of that depends on the age of the kids.
Oh, for sure.
Because there's an age.
Because when you're 2 and 3, your parents are the coolest.
Coming up in a bit, we're going to be talking to a gentleman who's got this book called GrandpaMagic. When they're little kids and you can do little tricks like this, they think
Yeah.
you're awesome.
But if you're in high school and
Yeah.
you're doing these tricks,
Our son's 21, our daughter's 17. I'm going to try these tricks on them and see what happens. Look at that. Dad's thumb just disappeared.
yeah, they're going to be like, yeah, Dad, you're so cool.
You're such a cool dad. Thanks for listening. I'm excited to chat with him. That's coming up. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Are you trying to find the perfect gift for someone with a good sense of humor? FunkyMonkeyShirts.com has a good selection of funny t-shirts and more. Some with Christmas themes. One that even replaces the ugly Christmas sweater for your next party. Find some silly shirts at FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. Also, learn how you can sell your own designs to make some extra Christmas cash. There's a link at the bottom of the page at FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. That's FunkyMonkeyShirts.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We have a special guest joining us today, Alan ZolaKronzek. He's got a new book that just came out. It's called GrandpaMagic, 116 Easy Tricks, Amazing Brainteasers, and Simple Stunts to Wow the Grandkids. And I got to tell you, Alan, I think this is a great idea for a book. I'm not a grandfather yet, but I've got a nephew that's 3. And I'm going to already start using some of these tricks just to wow him. Is it okay to use it on people other than grandkids?
Absolutely. Everything in the book will amaze adults as well as grandkids.
Well, I've been flipping through this. First of all, I got to tell you, I love the look of the book. I mean, this is I get to talk to a lot of authors, and a lot of the books that I get to talk to people about are just a lot of words on a page and very few illustrations. But there's a lot of illustrations that show you how the tricks are done. And it's just well illustrated and well written. So kudos to you on a very nice looking book and a very fun book.
Well, thanks so much. And I have to share the kudos with the publisher, which is Workman. They specialize in books like this, and they have a great design department. So I was just super pleased with the way they turned the photographs that I've posed for into illustrations. And, I was very surprised to be going through the book when it first came to me illustrated, to find cartoon me. I had never been a cartoon character before.
Well, you look good as a cartoon. I think that's really, really cool. Now, let's talk about what's inside the book. What are some of the most favorite tricks when you get a chance to show people some of these neat little tricks? What are the favorites that people walk away that, maybe they seem to be the most interested to walk away with?
It really depends on the age of the audience, what my favorite tricks are. I divide the audience of grandkids into believers and skeptics. So the believers, if you are the 6 and under set or 7 and under, and if you pull a coin out of their ear and then make it disappear, they're going to believe you can really do this. And so there are tricks for them that are like that, making things appear and disappear, or taking a dinner napkin and with just a couple of folds, you can turn it into a bunny puppet, and with cuddly ears, and do a little puppet show for the kid that will be really engaging and delightful. If the kid is 10, you don't want to do that. You want to fool them in a different way. So there are some mind-reading tricks that I like. There's a trick called the Psychic Kid, where you think, I'm thinking of a color, and I'm going to write it down. And now I'm thinking of an animal. I'm going to write it down. And now I'm thinking of something else, my favorite band. And I write it down. And I ask you to read my mind and guess what I was thinking of. And you do that, and amazingly, you turn out to be 100% correct.
Awesome.
Which is rather amazing, So that's, if you missed that one, it's called the Psychic Kid.
Very cool. And it's one of the many tricks that you will get to learn inside this book. It's called GrandpaMagic, 116 Easy Tricks, Amazing Brainteasers, and Simple Stunts to Wow the Grandkids. How did you settle on 116? I always just find it fascinating when it's not like 100. Why was it 116?
We didn't settle on it. We whittled it down because actually the book was a third longer to begin with.
Wow.
So we must have had maybe 150 items. And technically, when they first designed the book, they put it in 3 columns. And it turned out that it was much too small. All the illustrations were much too small. So they decided to make everything bigger, but then that made the book a third bigger, so we had to cut material, and we ended up with 116. So nobody brainstormed how many should we have. It's just a quirk.
Well, I like that it's a different number. It's not an odd number, it's an even number, but it's an odd even number. It's just a weird number for, 116. But I think that's memorable, and I think people will, because of that, remember it a little better.
Really? Oh, good. I never thought of that, but that's very cool, especially since you mentioned it 3 times.
Exactly.
People remember it a lot.
Again, our guest today, Allan ZolaKronzek. He's the author of GrandpaMagic. It's a new book that just recently came out. Is there a favorite for you in here that's like your favorite trick?
My favorite entry that connects with the theme of the book, which is amazing your grandkids, is a whole act called The Great Zucchini. And it's an act that a grandparent can do with their kid. The kid has to be like 7 and older to learn it. But if grandpa and the granddaughter or grandson spend, half hour together working on this, they can go to any family occasion, Thanksgiving or Christmas, and get everybody gathered in the living room and do a 15-minute show in which the kid has psychic powers. Now, there's something really cute about that, but what I like about it is it will fool everybody. It'll fool everybody in the room. And that's really my favorite because it creates the kind of bonding between the grandparent and the grandkid that is really the purpose of the book. It's really how to bond with the grandkids by bringing something to the table that the kid can relate to. It's different than slipping your grandkid a $5 bill when you see him. It's memorable, and it's interactive, and it's bonding.
And that's worth a lot more to the kids than a $5 bill, I can tell you that.
Exactly.
Well, thank you again for writing the book, and thank you for taking the time to chat with us about it.
Oh, well, thank you. And at GrandpaMagic.net, you can look through the book and learn several very cool tricks.
I will make sure we put a link to that in the show notes. Thank you again, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Again, GrandpaMagic. It is 116 tricks. 116 easy tricks, amazing brain teasers, and simple stunts to wow the grandkids. It's available right now. We're going to throw a link to the book in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
If you want to grow your business, you can add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers or a combination of both. There's no other way to grow your business. Just those two. Add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers. And if you already have a relationship with your customers and you have their email address, you can reach out to them with special offers to easily grow your sales, and you'll make your customers even happier. Let the experts at Constant Contact help. Get a free trial now. Text Radio Trial to number 22828. That's Radio Trial, all one word, to number 22828.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
April 18th, 1930 was such a slow news day that at 6:30 p.m., the BBC's radio announcer said, "There is no news."
Wow.
They just said, nothing to talk about. I wish that we could get to
Watch me do these grandpa tricks.
You got to admit, that was pretty cool. If you missed it, you missed it. We had a gentleman we were talking to about his new book, GrandpaMagic. But I think it'd be awesome to get back to a time where there is no news. It's like every day you turn on the news channels now. They got so much stuff scrolling on there. I don't watch the news channels. But the other day, I was at a place where they had that on TV, and I was like,
can't
"Whoa,
listen and read." And
I'm like, "What's going on? Are we under attack or something? What's happening?" And I was like, "Oh wait, no, it's just Tuesday. Never mind. It's nothing. It's nothing."
Yeah.
Anyway,
causes
again,
anxiety.
No news back in 1930, so they just said, "No news. We're going to just move on." Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. This has been a very fun fact.
FreshPatch.com is making dogs like me happy. They send out real grass pads for us to use indoors. Now when it's cold outside, I can go inside. And when I've used up the real grass patch, the mailman brings me a new Fresh Patch. It's the best idea since doggy treats. Convince your mommy to try it today. I suggest you try Puppy Dog Eyes. FreshPatch.com. Use promo code RADIO to save 10%. That's FreshPatch.com, promo code RADIO.
Time now for the grandiloquent word of the day, and it's edacious. Edacious. E-D-A-C-I-O-U-S. Edacious. What do you think edacious means?
I don't know. I know audacious is like larger than life.
Of, relating to, or given to eating. Characterized by voracity and devouring. So if you devour something, you are edacious.
Okay.
Devouring or craving food in great quantities. Edacious. Wanting to eat or drink more than one can reasonably consume. Audacious.
So that's like gluttony.
Yeah, I do that too much. Having an insatiable appetite for an activity or pursuit is audacious. I have an audacious appetite for things that I shouldn't eat. Prime rib. I love prime rib.
And it makes you sick
and I get
every
sick.
time.
And brisket. The other day I had brisket, and I knew I shouldn't have had it ahead of time because I get sick. And then I was
You called me.
I was like a ticking time bomb. I was like, oh.
You called me. Oh, no.
I don't
I just
feel
had
good.
it. I had it, and I have to go to a meeting.
I did. I had to go to a meeting. I was like, I didn't have time to. So I was, the whole time in this meeting, I was very quiet. And, okay, let's get this done. I got a lot of stuff on my mind. This is a bad moment for me. It was a very audacious
You're
moment.
sweating.
Today's way too much information. I'm sorry. But this has been today's Grandiloquent Word.
Want to honor a veteran? Consider giving to Veterans Tickets Foundation, a national nonprofit who supports our currently serving military, veterans, and family members of those we've lost in action by providing them with free tickets to sporting events, concerts, performing arts, and family activities. VetTix is dedicated to giving back to those who gave us so much. Learn how you can help at vettix.org. VetTix.org.
Time now for some weird news for you. According to a recent survey, 7% of Americans believe chocolate milk comes from brown cows.
How
7.
sad is that?
7%.
And this is why we have the Electoral College.
Well, no, it's not that, Heidi. Come on. The survey was
because people can't be trusted to make those kinds of
the
decisions.
survey was conducted by the Innovation Center of the U.S. of U.S. Dairy. This was back in April. 1,000 adults were questioned about the role milk plays in their daily lives.
Yikes.
Food and Wine is who reported this study. The study found 48% of respondents weren't sure where chocolate milk came from. 7% thought chocolate milk only comes from brown cows.
So
that
sad.
adds up to, by the way, 16.4 million people. That's more than the population of Ohio, if this statistic holds true for the whole country. I hope that's not the case. The Washington Post linked the study to past studies that consistently show many Americans have no idea where their food comes from. For example, a study in the 1990s found that nearly 20% of people did not know that hamburgers were made from beef.
I thought they were ham.
Funny thing is, I had a conversation with somebody, and they were dead serious. They were saying that, no, it's made of ham. I said, no, it's not. It's beef. It's ground beef. No, it's not. It's ham. That's why it's a hamburger. And cheeseburgers are made of cheese. Cheeseburger. I was like, you're not kidding me right now, are you? No. I was like, it's from Hamburg, Germany. That's why it's called a hamburger.
So sad.
It's beef. There's no ham in it.
So sad.
And this is before Google, so I couldn't just show them. I couldn't Google it and say, hey, say right here. So they walked away thinking I was kidding them because I'm known to joke around. I was serious. So there you go. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. Authorities say a man apparently set a California home on fire while he was using a blowtorch to kill some spiders. Yeah, bad idea. Firefighters were called to a Fresno housing development to put out a 2-alarm blaze. Authorities say a man was house-sitting for his parents when he tried to kill a black widow spider with a blowtorch.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank goodness he got out safely. The home's attic, though, and the second story, they were damaged. The exact cause of the blaze is under investigation. I'm thinking it was the blowtorch, but, you know.
We can't be sure.
Yeah.
Can't check into these things.
They say they believe the blowtorch was to blame. Of course they do. There's no word on what happened to the spiders. Firefighters in Fresno tweeted, please don't use a blowtorch to kill spiders. You shouldn't have to tweet that, but thank you.
You shouldn't use a blowtorch for anything.
No.
I can't think of anything that the average homeowner would need a blowtorch for.
No, for most things, you don't need that. You don't need that. Thanks for listening. This is a very big moment of duh. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Every day, approximately 23 U.S. military veterans take their own lives. Big Paws Canine Foundation is helping to decrease that number, providing service and companion dogs to our disabled veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Partnering a hero with a specifically trained dog significantly reduces the incidence of suicide, and your support makes all the difference. Find out how you can help our American heroes. Join the pack at BigPawsCanine.com.
Time now for Fake News or Florida. This is where I ask Heidi if this really truly happened in the great state of Florida or if we're making it up to just trick her. What do you think, Heidi? Fake news or Florida? A police report indicates that a domestic dispute over a pimple became so heated the police were called to break up an altercation. Fake news or Florida?
Florida.
That is a true story. Did you read that online or
No.
you just... What about that made you think that had to be for real, like legit?
I'm not telling you anymore
Oh.
because as soon as I tell you why, then you try to alter your
I think it's
stories.
because I'm reading it too fast and I couldn't make it up in time. That's got to be. I'm going to just note to self: read it slower next time. All right, this has been a fun fake news or Florida. We have some good news on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I've been giving Heidi the choice between two stories. After becoming the largest European city to offer free public transit, they're enjoying a revolution from their buses, or scientists growing rice with seawater could feed entire Arab world.
That's the one I would like to hear about, the rice.
Okay, so rice, baby. That's coming up here in a second. But first, I want to let you know our good news comes your way courtesy of ofduh. That is the monthly subscription service just for the ladies. All of the details at radiosavings.com. And my computer is popping up the story. Here it is. Scientists growing rice with seawater could feed the entire Arab world. It says a successful experiment in the desert of Dubai may promise to curb hunger around the world. A team of Chinese scientists have managed to develop a specific strain of rice that grows in salt water. Not only that, it yields far more rice than the average freshwater-dependent strain. Back in January, the researchers were invited by representatives of the United Arab Emirates to plant some of the salt-tolerant rice in different patches of the desert where water is too precious to waste on crops that depend on such intense hydration. After 5 months of growth, several strains of the modified rice yielded as much as 7.8 tons of food per hectare. I don't know what that is. I think that's like an acre. I don't know what that is, though. The global standard, by the way, is 3.3 tons, and they were 7.8 tons. So it's very exciting news. They did very, very well. I think that's really cool.
That is absolutely awesome. And it's cool that we're using salt water for that,
We
which
got a
we
lot of
have
that.
such an abundance
There's
of.
salt water all around.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I do have a link to this story if you want to know all about it. The link is in the show notes. It's in the good news section of the show notes at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.